These guys are full. Oh! Hi, how's it going? I'm just wondering, guys, how are you all doing? Oh, whoopsie daisies. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Let's do a tuck on them. What do you reckon, guys? Incoming scuttle? Hey, you beautiful buccaneers, Falcore here. So after a lengthy conversation about the lore with Mr. Captain Logan on the Keelhauled podcast, he proposed an idea that got me thinking. So I thought I'd talk on this subject a little. By the way, check out the full interview in the pinned comments below. So during Tall Tale 2, we learn a lot of lore surrounding the Sirens. The Sirens were once regular merfolk, but due to a plague that fell on them, they were cut off from their song. The merfolk song is a kind of language of sorts that binds them all together like a hive mind. Think of it as a whale song that can be heard hundreds of miles under the water, except in this case it spans the entirety of Sea of Thieves. But this tribe of merfolk we see in Tall Tale 2 and also out in the oceans were cut off from this song, and as a result they created their own song, a song of sorrow, that not only cut them off from their kin, but also cursed and warped them into a more feral version of the merfolk, known as the Sirens. Now, it's unclear whether this happened before or after the curse fell upon them, but at one point, the king of this tribe attempted to make contact with the land dwellers above. The queen begged him not to, as she did not trust them, but he persisted and broke the veil of the water edge to make contact. The king of these land dwellers, however, played a trick on the Merfolk King and lured him to land, only to raise blades and capture him, trapping him in a tomb for all eternity. Somehow, when in this tomb, the king's soul was locked away in this chest, the everlasting chest of sorrow, where his cries could be heard for all eternity. This chest was then later found by a very unlikely crew, a crew that found a vessel abandoned and fully restored, the Silver Blade, the former ship of Flameheart's son. When Flameheart's son sailed this vessel, he had on board a different chest, a chest that we are yet to see, known as the Whispering Chest. This chest for some reason lured the Kraken and terrified the merfolk. However, Flameheart's son sunk the Silver Blade and the chest was lost to the depths. Now, I believe it was this chest that held this plague that the Siren Queen talks of, as she mentions a whispering plague that fell upon them, cutting them off from their kin and transforming them into sirens. It would also explain why the merfolk were terrified of this chest. So how did this chest curse them? And where is it now? Well, thanks to the Tales of the Sea of Thieves book, we know that the chest was rediscovered, but we still don't know its origins. Flameheart's son was asked to retrieve it from the depths, but we don't know how it got there in the first place. Now, let's talk a little about Flameheart Sr. Flameheart Sr. has always seen himself as a ruler. He sees himself as the king of the Sea of Thieves, and even refers to himself as that. We know that back when he was flesh and blood like the rest of us, he tried to overthrow the Sea of Thieves like he's trying to do now. But he was betrayed. He did, however, plan for the betrayal, and using unknown magic, bound his soul to his own skull, in the hopes to one day be resurrected. Which worked, by the way. I'm looking at you, Pendragon. So Flameheart Sr. was possibly the first person to know of this binding magic, and this knowledge was then found by the Order of Souls, which was taught to Pendragon, and then also taught to Grey Marrow. Also, it would make sense for Flameheart to want to find a way to become immortal at all costs, because back when he was alive, there was no ferryman to bring him back, and a man hell-bent on power would want to live for all eternity. It's also why he's always so surprised why we don't die during his ghost ship encounter. Dude, you never got the ferryman memo. So we have a flesh and blood pirate, hell-bent on power, claiming himself to be the king, armed with the curses from the Sea of Thieves that he has found on his travels, and a Merfolk King who wants nothing more than to make peace with those who walk above the water. It was never stated that the people the king found were ancients. It merely states that they were people who lived above the waves. So it's entirely possible that the person that the Merfolk King met was Flameheart Sr. himself, a man that wanted nothing more to be the only rule on the seas, who then discovers a kingdom under the waves. Angered by this, he takes the Merfolk King hostage, trapping his soul within a chest for all eternity, so he can no longer rule. And it's entirely likely that this fabled whispering chest was also in his possession, and he dropped it into the depths to curse the Merfolk, so he could rule supreme.
But know this,